Now let's bring in Congressman Republican Darrell Issa, Republican from California. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you for being here. The Hill is reporting that Republicans are warning Trump not to get our military directly involved in Ukraine. Is that going to be possible with the security guarantees? Maybe not U.S. boots on the ground, but perhaps pilots going over Ukraine to secure the European troops that may be on the ground.
Thanks for having me on. It is the great question. Is there a chance that we can have a lasting peace and a ceasefire and new borders, if you will, that would be honored by Putin without the force of the United States and NATO behind it? And the answer is quite obviously, after many times he's said one thing and then done another, the answer is no. So there is an absolute, the guarantee has to have real teeth in it this time. Remember, Russia themselves signed the guarantee, not that for the borders that they then violated in 2014. So we're going to have something that does represent that. It's not always popular, including with my colleagues, to do the right thing. But the right thing is, when this ends, it has to really end for the Ukrainian people. They've suffered just unthinkable amount of personal injury and family loss up and down, in addition to the military. And they have to know they have a lasting peace. And, you know, if I can, that poll didn't ask a question that should be asked by anyone who goes back to the Cold War, who understands living under the boots of Russia. Would you have a surrender that puts you back under the boots of Russia? Would you be a satellite of Russia? Would you, as a Ukrainian, want to go back to what your parents had to deal with? And the answer, of course, would be very different than, oh, yes, we'll give up the part. Yeah, because the part that's being polled is the part that isn't under Russian control today.
But again, just to put a fine point on it, Congressman, is there a possibility that these security guarantees will have some U.S. involvement either on the ground or in the air over Ukraine?
I believe that using NATO allies, that we will include a guarantee that makes it clear to Russia that there would be a response different than in 2014. Okay. And that is a yes, basically.
Okay. All right. I want to bring it back home to the idea of tariffs and this amazing amount of money that the United States is now taking in revenue from the tariffs. There's a lot of question about what to do with it, much more than expected. It might be up to $300 billion a year. Now, I've done a little back of the envelope calculation. That would come to about $475 per quarter per taxpayer if you were to give it out to the taxpayers rather than use it to cancel some of our huge debt. I know a lot of people are saying, no, the debt has to come first, but don't American taxpayers have to come first? Shouldn't politicians be forced to admit that this is our money, not theirs to play around with? And isn't the best way to prove that point to give the money directly to people in quarterly payments that we're getting from these tariffs?
You know, I wish I could agree with you. It would be popular. It might happen. And of course, it's very politically popular. But if you look at the same amount of money and say, if you put it into Social Security, would it cause Social Security to remain solvent for the rest of your life? The answer is probably yes. If you don't, then you're certainly going to need to shore up Social Security with a similar amount of money or greater.
But Congressman, let me just interrupt for 1 second. The point is, Americans want money in their pockets now. They need money in their pockets. We're going through kind of a soft period economically right now as we adjust to all these new policy changes. Wouldn't that be a great way to kind of lessen the blow that they're taking, the American taxpayer?
I expect that politicians are going to want to do it. And again, I don't want to dissuade you from that. But as somebody who knows that we have to lower spending across the board and increase revenue through economic growth, if we're going to reinvest that, we better make sure that it does one of those two things: spurs economic growth or lowers spending. And this is a huge windfall, but let's not squander it.
All right. Well, I don't think giving it back to taxpayers is squandering it, but we're going to have an Oxford Debating Society meeting coming up. Meanwhile, the mayor of Los Angeles, in your home state, Karen Bass, is delaying a report on the Palisades fire until the ongoing federal investigation has been completed. How long is it going to take to get answers to this? And why is she actually going along with the DOJ and delaying her own report on these fires?
Look, the mayor is embarrassed that she said that they were going to grant permits, they were going to get things built back up, and nothing has happened. People are selling off their land in many cases. They're unable to get building permits in return for years. So she has a lot of things that she wants to run away from. And one of them, of course, she wants to run away from is, why did they run out of water? At the end of the day, many of those homes failed because there was no water to put out the fire.
Exactly. No, it was really disgraceful that happened. The extinguishers were not there, and they should have been. Great to see you, Congressman Darrell Issa. Pleasure. It's been too long. Come back soon.